Comment indiquer l'heure? How to tell the time in French. Les objectifs. In this lesson, you will learn telling time vocabulary, learn how to read an analog clock, learn how to tell time in both standard and military French. La question. Quelle heure est-il? La réponse. Il est heure. Il est 9 heures. Il y a 60 secondes dans une minute. Il y a 60 secondes dans une minute. 60 secondes font une minute. 60 secondes font une minute. Il y a 60 minutes dans une heure. Il y a 60 minutes dans une heure. 60 minutes font une heure. 60 minutes font une heure. Il y a 24 heures dans une journée. Il y a 24 heures dans une journée. 24 heures font une journée. 24 heures font une journée. Est-ce que vous avez compris? Have you understood? So let's look at the first one. What do you think this might say in French? Il y a 60 secondes dans une minute. There are 60 seconds in a minute. How about the next one? Il y a 60 minutes dans une heure. There are 60 minutes in an hour. Il y a 24 heures dans une journée. There are 24 hours in a day. Écoutez et répétez. L'horloge. L'horloge. La montre. La montre. Le réveil. Le réveil. Une montre connectée. Une montre connectée. Comment indiquer l'heure traditionnelle? En français, on dit « il est heure » et les minutes sont après. Il est heure et les minutes sont après. Par exemple, il est 1 heure. Il est 1 heure. Il est 1 heure. Prochainement, il est 2 heures. Il est 2 heures. Il est 2 heures. Il est 3 heures. Il est 3 heures. Il est 3 heures. Do you see a pattern? What will come next? What do you think? Did you say, il est 4 heures? If you did, you'd be correct. Il est 4 heures. Il est 4 heures. Il est 5 heures. Il est 5 heures. And what do you think will come after 5 heures? Il est 6 heures. Il est 6 heures. So there's several different patterns you may notice here. One is the il est. That comes first for every single one of these. Il est, what do you think it might mean? Did you say it is? You'd be correct. Il est 1 heure. It is 1 hour or 1 o'clock. Look at the next one. Il est 2 heures. What's the difference between il est 1 heure and il est 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 heures? That's right. There's an S on the end of heure for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why would that be? Remember that 1 is singular, 1 hour. But if you think about it, 2 o'clock is 2 hours, or 2 o'clock. Note that there is no sound difference between heure, singular, and heure, plural. Why is that? Remember the rule in French, it is only the last consonant heard if it's followed by a vowel. So in this case, heure, the sound stops at the R. Now, H is considered a vowel in French. So you'll note that for several of these, you hear a liaison, which means that the ending letter of one word goes to the next letter of the next word, because H is a vowel. If it's not a vowel, if it's not A, E, I, O, U, and H and Y, then you're not going to hear the last letter. So in this case, il est 1 heure, the T on the A goes over to the U. Il est 1 heure. Il est 2 heures. That X sound goes to the H. Il est 2 heures. If I said it slowly, il est 2 heures, it sounds weird to a French person. They make the liaison so you know there's two separate words, de and heure, 2 heures. Same with 3. Il est 3 heures. The S becomes a Z sound. Il est 3 heures. Il est 4 heures. That R, you'll hear it because there are vowels after it. Il est 4 heures. Il est 5 heures. That Q is followed by a vowel, so cœur. Il est 5 heures. And again, the X with the H, il est 6 heures. Okay? So telling the time on the hour, it's just il est, then the number in French, and the word heure, singular if it's for the number une, and plural if it's any other number. What comes after il est 6 heures? Il est 7 heures. Il est 7 heures. Il est 8 heures. Il est 8 heures. Continue. Il est 9 heures. Il est 9 heures. That F sort of makes a slight V sound. Il est 9 heures. Otherwise, normally it's 9, n'est-ce pas? And then you have il est 10 heures. Il est 10 heures. Il est 11 heures. And then things get a little tricky. Pay it close attention. Quand on indique l'heure, il y a 2 exceptions. Il est minuit. Il est minuit. Il est midi. Il est midi. Do you know what il est minuit might be in English? What word do you see in minuit? That's right, the word nuit. So therefore, it's night. So midnight, in the middle of the night. Minuit. And then il est midi looks a little different, so you have to memorize midi, midday. Midi, midday. Midi, midday. Minuit, the N tells you night. Minuit, midnight. Minuit, midnight. Midi, midday. L'heure en français est exprimée dans 2 manières. Mettez les phrases du matin, de l'après-midi ou du soir après l'heure. Use the phrases in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, after the hour. utiliser l'heure officielle, use military time. So, les expressions qui vont après l'heure. Du matin, du matin. De l'après-midi, de l'après-midi. Du soir, du soir. Les expressions viennent du latin. Ante-meridiem means before midday or noon. AM, ante-meridiem. Meridiem is midday. Ante is before. Post-meridiem, PM, after midday or afternoon. PM, post-meridiem, post-midday. From 12:01 a.m. to 11:59 a.m., you would say du matin. Du matin. What do you think du matin might mean? In the morning. 12:01 p.m. to 5:59 p.m. is de l'après-midi. What do you think that might mean? If du matin is in the morning, de l'après-midi is in the afternoon. And lastly, 6 p.m. to 11:59 p.m. is du soir. Du soir. And that means in the evening. So du matin in the morning, de l'après-midi in the afternoon, du soir in the evening. You will never see or hear AM or PM when discussing the time in French. In fact, AM and PM is only used in English. It's not used in any other language. They use du matin, de l'après-midi, and du soir, or they switch to l'heure officielle, military time. So let's see how that works. Comment lire une horloge? En français, vous avez la grande aiguille, la petite aiguille et l'aiguille des secondes. If you were to look at a clock that is an analog clock, you are used to digital clocks where the time is written for you, you would see that there is a 12, a 3, a 6, and a 9 as the most important numbers. There are other numbers, of course, on the clock. You have 1, you have 1, you have 2, you have 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, 11, and then 12. But the way you read a clock is a little different. So if we were to think of a clock as 4 quarters, sort of like if we were doing big slices of a pie. And so if I just go directly through and directly through, I now have 4 pieces here, right? So that's the 4th. That's the 1st, 2nd, and the 3rd. If there are 60 minutes in an hour, what is 60 divided by 4, or 25% of 60? That would mean that this is worth 15 minutes, and this is worth 15 minutes, another 15 here, and another 15 here. 15 times 4 makes 60, right? So 15 minutes plus another 15 is 30, plus another 15 is 45, and another 15 is 60. And when we're talking about time, you'll often see that we have specific names for these numbers. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. But I want to make sure you understand how to read a clock. So all of this is extremely important when you see an analog clock. And you may say, I don't see them very often. However, you do see them a lot on tests and quizzes in a foreign language, and also sometimes in businesses. So, getting rid of all of that and showing you again how you can think of the clock. So, again, if this is 15 minutes, that would be a half, right? So this is a quarter. This now becomes a half. This makes it 3/4. And then this makes it a full whole, right? And remember, each one of these is worth 15 minutes. So keep that in mind. Next, we have what is known as the hour hand, which is a much smaller hand. And I'm just going to make it easy. We're going to point to the 12. Okay? So that means that the hour we're considering is 12. And then, because over here, we'll do exactly like the clock shows. The minute hand is the larger hand. That hand tells the minutes. So this hand is the hour and this is the minutes. It is almost 12 o'clock. It is 5 minutes until 12 o'clock. So we could say that it is 11:55, or we could be futuristic and say it is 5 minutes to 12. And that is how we tell time in English, and they do something similar in French. So when you're looking at a clock, remember the small hand is the hour, the longer hand is the minute hand. If there is a red hand, that hand is the, and we can just have it doing whatever. It's always here, and then it's like here. This is the seconds hand, okay? And that every second tick, 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 until it goes to the 12, okay? So the red hand or the moving hand all the time is the seconds hand. There's 60 seconds in a minute. There are 60 minutes in an hour. So you see how this all comes together. Okay, moving on. So if you divide the clock again into 4 quarters, each quarter is 15 minutes. 15 minutes times 4 quarters, 60 minutes is an hour. Hope that seems clear. Comment indiquer les minutes en français? La phrase pour indiquer l'heure en français est il est heure, minute. Il est heure et les minutes. Minute, c'est silent. On ne dit pas le mot minute. You'll never hear the word minute unless someone's saying something like c'est dans 5 minutes. It's in 5 minutes. Okay? Quelques exemples. So you know how to do the first part, n'est-ce pas? Il est 8 heures. And then it's just the number. 5. Il est 8h05. Remember, 8 heures, the S is because it's plural, and then the number 5. How would you do this one? Il est, never forget your il est, 11h25. Il est 11h25. And this last one, I bet you can do it. Il est 10h10. Il est 10h10. Now, as I said, you'll never hear the word minute when you're telling time, unless someone says, le film commence dans 10 minutes. The film begins in 10 minutes. but they're not telling you the time. They're telling you how much time until the next activity. Il y a 3 exceptions. Il y a 3 exceptions. Écoutez et regardez. Il est 9 heures, but now we're going to say écart. Il est 9h15. Il est 3h30. Il est 3h30. Il est 4h. Pardon. This one, really pay attention. Fais attention. Il est 5h moins le quart. Il est 5h moins le quart. So let's look at these. We talked about before the clock, did we not? We talked about the fact that there was a clock and that a clock could be put into 4 quarters. This is écart. When it's half, it's et demi. And when it's 3 quarters, it's moins le quart. Now, moins le quart, this word here means minus. Okay, that's the word minus. So it's minus le quart. And. So écart is and a quarter of time. So it is 9 o'clock and a quarter of time. In English, we also use the term quarter past. So it's the same idea. Then you have et demi. It's 3 o'clock and a half. Half of the hour has gone by. So et demi is half past, meaning half past the hour of 3. 9 o'clock and a quarter, or quarter past, is a quarter past the hour of 9 o'clock. And then you have il est 5h moins le quart. You have it's 5 o'clock minus a quarter of time. And in English, we say it's a quarter to 5. So we do the same thing. It's just a little different. Ces expressions en anglais, these same expressions in English. Quarter after, quarter past, écart in French. Half past, et demi in French. Quarter to the next hour, moins le quart in French. Attention. Il est nécessaire d'avancer l'heure quand les minutes sont plus de 30. Il est nécessaire d'avancer l'heure quand les minutes sont plus de 30. So it's necessary to advance to the next hour when the minutes are more than 30 in French. You don't have to in English, but you do have to do so in French, which is why, again, it was 4:45 instead of 3/4. Regardez cette horloge. Look at this clock. What do you notice? You see the numbers 1 to 12, and also you see that for each number, it gives you the minutes. So for 1, it's 5 or 5, 2 is 10 or 10, 3 is écart 15. So the écart is used for standard time, and then official or military time would be équinze. Then you have at the 4, 20 or 20, 5, 25 for 25, 6 et demi or et 30. Et demi used for standard time, et 30 for official military time. Moins 25, minus 25 minutes at number 7. Remember that after 6, anything after the 30-minute mark, you're going backwards from the next hour. So you would say il est, and then the next hour, and then moins 25 to say the 25. At 8, you have moins 20. At 9, you have moins le quart, moins 15, so moins le quart. quarter 2, which is official standard time, and then moins 15, which is official time or military time, moins 10 at 10, 10 minutes to the next hour, moins 5 for 11, 5 minutes to next hour, and then pile to express on the hour. Quelques exemples de plus. Il est 6h moins 10. Quelle heure est-il? Il est 6h moins 10. Think about it. You've got 6h moins 10. Look at the vocab used. What time is it really? I hope you said it was 5:50. It is 10 minutes to 6 o'clock, or in French, it is 6 o'clock minus 10 minutes. Let's try another. Il est 4h moins 20. Il est 4h moins 20. Again, look at the vocab. Look at the minutes. Hopefully you said it is 3:40. And the last example, le dernier exemple. Il est 10h moins 5. Il est 10h moins 5. Again, look at all the vocab. Did you come up with 9:55? I hope so. Remember, any time the minutes are past 30, you have to subtract from the next hour to move forward. So l'heure officielle is military time. Il est 0 heure. It's 0, 100 hours. Il est 0 heure. You should know what comes next. Il est 1 heure. Il est 2 heures. Il est 3 heures. Il est 4 heures. Il est 5 heures. All very logical, just like we've been learning. Il est 6 heures. Il est 7 heures. Il est 8 heures. Il est 9 heures. Il est 10 heures. Il est 11 heures. This is where things get a little different. Just like military time in English. Il est 12 heures. Il est 13 heures. 13. 12 et 1 font 13. Il est 14 heures. Il est 15 heures. Il est 16 heures. Il est 17 heures. Il est 18 heures. 12 et 6 font 18. Il est 19 heures. Il est 20 heures. Il est 21 heures. Il est 22 heures. Il est 23 heures. And again, il est 0 heure. Note the 0 heure also does not have the S. Why? Because it's not plural. So they use a 24-hour clock, just like we do in the military. The French use l'heure officielle for employee timesheets, radio, TV, movie listings, flight, train, bus schedules, timetables, and appointments, just like the military does. With military time, you do not add the du matin, de l'après-midi, or du soir. We don't in English, and you won't need to in French. You also do not need to advance to the next hour for expressing minutes after 30. Okay? Regardez, encore des exemples. Il est 23h14. Il est 23h14. What time then is it if you were to read it digitally, as if it was AM or PM? I hope you said that it was 11:14 p.m. Remember, 11 plus 12 is 13. That's how you get the military or official time. Let's try another. Il est 8h45. Il est 8h44. Excuse me. Il est 8h44. What is the time? Is it PM or AM? Think carefully. It's AM, 8:44 a.m. If the number is under 12, it means it's in the morning for official or military time. To say the time is on the dot, you say il est heure pile. Il est heure pile. Il est 6 heures pile. Il est 6 heures pile. Pour déterminer l'heure officielle, to figure out the time in military time past 12 p.m., you just add 12 to the hour. So 6 p.m. would be 1800 hours, 18 heures, or 12 plus 6 equals 18. Des questions? Telling time is easy if you have memorized numbers 0 to 59 in French, understand how military time works, understand how to read an analog clock, know how to tell time using expressions such as écart, et demi, moins le quart, and understand how to tell the time past the half of the hour. Please leave me a comment to let me know if you enjoyed this or not. À bientôt!